This is maybe one of my favorite stories we've ever covered. Hassan, the Satanic Temple, basically trolls for the separation of church and state, could potentially have after-school clubs at different public schools. So the temple will start petitioning specific school districts across the country to allow Satan clubs to operate at their elementary schools. And before I tell you more about that, Hassan, let's take a look at the video advertising these programs. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. So let me tell you a little bit more. This,
Tell me more about ass.
Okay, the after-school Satan. After-school Satan comes sort of as a response to the Good News Club, which is a project of the Child Evangelism Fellowship, which says, quote, unsaved children hear of their need for a savior, and saved children are presented a spiritual growth challenge. Now, the Supreme Court ruled in 2001 that the Good News Clubs were actually legal, and, you know, the Satanists, they're not a big fan of this. Doug Mesner, who is the co-founder and spokesperson for the Satanic Temple, says, what they're trying to do is proselytize to children between the ages of 5 and 12 years old. He goes on to say, I want to make it clear that this isn't the Satanic Temple against Christians. The CEF is its own distinct isolationist fundamentalist brand of Christianity. I think most Christians would be deeply disturbed by some of these materials. So what they're saying is that the after-school Satan Club will actually be all about rational, scientific, free-thinking worldview. That's what they're focusing on. And basically, just to round this out, the Good News Club is being represented by the Liberty Council, and they recently won a lawsuit in Cleveland that ensured that, quote, religious groups are not discriminated against in the future and receive the same access and benefits to public facilities as similarly situated non-religious groups. So to that, Mesner, again, the spokesperson for the Satanic Temple, says, organizations like the Liberty Council have done more to bring people to Satan than I ever could. Because again, these lawsuit battles always end up saying that you're not allowed to discriminate against religious groups. And undoubtedly, the Satanic Temple is a religious group. Now, Hassan, you might be shocked to learn this, but as a Christian, I really loved this story. I truly believe in the in the separation of church and state and freedom of religion, and I don't agree with a lot of evangelical. There you go. I don't even know. That's how out of touch I am. I don't agree with a lot of hyper-evangelical groups, so I like that the Satanic Temple is kind of calling this into question, forcing a discourse to be had.
So they call this trolling, and it kind of is. Because they don't really, like, there isn't really any, especially in the case of this group, this particular group, there isn't like this clear-cut, well-defined satanic ideology behind it where it's like, let's kill babies and you know, skin cats or whatever people thought Satanists did in the 90s. If you guys remember, there was this insane widespread affluenza over satanic rituals happening in neighborhoods like Satanists. Are they among us? Like, obviously, this isn't like that at all. This is kind of like the Pastafarian religion, which maybe some Pastafarians will be offended that I'm using that as another example of trolling for trolling for secularist values. But it's funny that like they take it seriously, some Christians, and they're like, oh my God, we have a battle against Satan. But then also because of the laws that they set forward that are now protected by the Constitution,
are now coming to bite them.
It's coming to bite them in the ass.
Yeah, and I think that there's nothing wrong with challenging the idea that a lot of Americans have, which is that this is purely a Christian nation. And we know that this is a melting pot. And we know that we should have the freedom of religion to believe whatever you want to believe and to practice religion freely. And I like that the Satanic Temple is trolling the evangelicals who sometimes it doesn't even click for them, that there could be other religions in the same country that have the exact same rights, that are allowed to practice their religion as freely as they are after school. And they were saying also that a lot of people who have teaching certificates are coming forward saying, you know what, I'm not a Satanist, but I would like to run this after-school program for you in my own district. They're petitioning in certain districts to have these programs available. And, it seems like within the communities, people like it. Would you send your kid to one of these schools? Or one of these programs?
I mean, no, because again, it goes back to the same concept of like, I don't want anyone teaching any sort of dogmas, even if it's like rational thought or anything like that. I don't want to.
Scientific thinking.
Yeah, even if it's that, I don't want it to be premised or diluted by some sort of underlying messaging behind like Satanism or anything like that. I would probably try to teach them this sort of stuff in schools, and then myself, like over a game of catch or something. That's what fathers do in America, I think. Like, hey son, like let's talk about religion, and I'm like playing
Remind me
catch.
to never be your son.
Anyway,
that's creepy.
yeah, I know you had the opportunity.
Yeah, I was thinking some people might confuse it. They're like, is that Hassan's son?
Yeah.
What I will say is that I might actually send a kid of mine to these satanic after-school clubs once, just because I think that it's important to expand a young kid's mind. I don't know, I'm not a parent, who knows. The one thing that I can't get past, and I wonder if you...
What does Lizzie think about it?
I wonder if...
She said she's doing this.
Just really quick, my girlfriend
as in, I'm going to cut your head off in the name of Satan.
My girlfriend is in the studio today, and she's there in the back just being like, this works out, kids not going to after-school Satan camp. But, that's a discussion that we can have off camera. In any case, what I can't really get past is the word Satan and the promotional video. Like, on paper, I really agree with a lot of what they're saying, but the video is really scary with the chanting and everything, and also just the name Satan, because a kid's gonna be like, Mom, like, who's Satan? And then you have to explain Lucifer.
If you think that like all of these are like mythological stories, then that's just what it is. It's a character in a story.
A terrifying goat man.
Yeah, I mean, it's not necessarily like a real evil personified in a goat man form.
But I would want to raise my
shadows.
kids. I would want to raise my kids as Christians, but with a big global view and really accepting of all religions. So I would want to actually explain to them who Satan is, and then I think that. He's a scary dude. Let's not mix our words here. Skating.
He's a scary dude. Skating.
Well, he's so scary you can combine it. When you're scared of Satan, the word is you're skating. Oh, I'm so skating. That's terrible. Guys, let us know in the comment section below. What do you think? Shut up! What do you think about after-school Satan programs? Would you send your kid to an after-school Satan program? This is Hassan Piker.
That's me.
I'm Satan. We'll see you next time on Pop Trigger.